Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode. I believe this is episode 28 of Back to the Past with me. I am Blair. Well, today I'm back in sunny Arkansas. Actually, a very nice day in early January it is. The temperature, I think, has been in the 40s most of the day. There's been a little bit of a breeze blowing. So behind me is a fallen white oak, about 14 inches in diameter, maybe 15 inches in diameter at the base, and then it narrows, of course, as we go up. White oak is what actually most of the log homes were built out of around here back in the day. White oak is pretty weather-resistant lumber. I have two logs on my cabin that are going to need to be replaced because they've rotted. I had brought a couple of pine logs from Colorado that I had intended to use there, but if I can make use of this white oak, especially for the bottom log, it should work just fine. The log that I'm replacing is actually about 8 or 9 inches in diameter, so this one should work well. I think that I can get 16 or 17 feet that is pretty straight out of it. So again, I'll be working on that. A couple of things that we're going to do to start with. I have my youngest Ute, who I have nicknamed Crash, with me. She's doing a bunch of driving for me with the Rhino. I am going to cut off the end of this stubby log to where she can back up, and she'll be handling all the firewood and such from this log and the opposite end of it. And then there's a red oak just up the road here that we're going to take a look at maybe cutting down too. This tree fell a couple of months ago. I think actually about 5 or 6 months ago, so it should be in good shape. It's up off the ground, shouldn't have any rot set into it. The red oak that's up the road actually fell 2 or 3 years ago, and although it's not touching the ground, it's kind of iffy as to what the condition will be of that, whether it's something that's usable or not. We'll take a look at that after we get started here. I hope the camera is set up in sight, but there is I'm not sure what this, I believe this is an oak tree also, maybe 5 or 6 inches in diameter at the base. It'll be a great firewood log, but when this big oak fell, it took the top half of that down. So this I'll cut down and we'll cut up into firewood. I am probably going to cut this as close to the base as I can, and then we will use my log cart that I built to winch this out to where we can get it onto the log cart or up, winched up underneath the log cart and hauled out of here, hauled back to my place, and then eventually it'll go back to Colorado to be cut up on their mill. So I'm hoping to get a 16 or 17 footer out of this that's good, and then the upper half will be used for firewood, of course. Not going to do a whole lot more today. It's actually getting pretty late in the day. I might have another half hour of sunlight left. So probably the only thing that I'll do is to go ahead and lop the end of this short rotten log off, and then take that 6-incher down and maybe start cutting some firewood. But then the rest of it's going to get saved for tomorrow. The rest of the week is actually supposed to be pretty nice. I've got a backhoe on reserve that I'm going to do some work, both laying more, going ahead with the stone wall at my place on Saturday. Stick around, here we go. I believe that's all for today. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Good morning. I am back. It is Wednesday morning, a beautiful morning in January here in the Ozarks of Arkansas. Now, to me, my way of spending a winter in December and January is to spend an awful lot of time in a t-shirt, which I'm in this morning. Feels absolutely wonderful. A bit of a chill in the morning doesn't bother me, but I like for it to warm up rather pleasantly. So here I am. I thought that I had turned on time-lapse to cut up all that firewood. I've spent probably about 2 hours cutting up the ends of it. I guess I forgot to turn it on, but that's okay because now I got battery power to do some of the more interesting stuff. See you in a minute. The first thing that I'm going to need to do is to dig down to where I can get a cut all the way around this at the base, as close as I can to the base that's good timber. And then what I need to try to do is to get a 17-foot log that's straight that I can get 6 inches in width, which is the log width on my cabin. 17 feet in length, and then I think that's going to end up just about at a crook in the tree here, which might work out really nice. And then whatever's left over, another probably 6 or 8 feet, that will just be cut into lumber. Give me a minute and I'll get going. I'm cut most of the way through the log. At the base, I'm going to try to finish it up. I know it's going to try to roll. You can't see it from this angle, but there's a bend in it about 8 feet from the end, and part of that branch is, the upper end is kind of hanging this way, so it's going to roll downhill as I make that cut. So I want to make sure I'm uphill of it and don't get caught underneath it. But I'm going to go ahead and try to cut that piece loose, hopefully without getting my chainsaw hung. Here we go. And we'll have a 7-foot piece afterwards. I'm gonna make one more cut there and then I'll try dragging this out of the woods. I think I'm ready to load logs. My daughter wants to be here for this part of the job. So I think what I'll do maybe is go take her to lunch. And after lunch we'll be back and load these up with the log cart. Stick around, I'll be back. Well, I am ready to move the long log out of here. I'm taking a wild guess of probably 1,700 pounds that it weighs. And the one concern that I have is as I'm pulling up the hill, I've noticed with the other two logs that I've carried that's only half this length or less than half this length, is there's a real steep part up near the top of the hill that I was able to get the shorter logs out, but I'm really hoping that I can get this one out without powering out on my vehicle because it's in a real uncomfortable position to be backing down the hill. So what I need to do, I'm trying to save this tree here, and in order to do it, I need to be able to move the log about 2 feet. I guess it would be to the east, and then I'll be able to swing it around the tree, set up the log cart just about where the camera is sitting, and then be able to use the log cart to winch it back. I've got my log cart set to my full extension, so it's ready. It shouldn't have any problem lifting this log, I don't think. We'll find out though. I've got the rhino set up up the hill. I've got a rope tied off to the end of this log. Let's give it a try and see if we can move this thing a couple of feet. I believe that's enough. I don't know which I'm more impressed with, that 3/4 inch manila rope, the load it was able to pull without breaking, or a bowline knot, which even after that strain you can untie the knot. Either one's pretty impressive. I've got the 4x4 set to pull that way downhill. Hopefully this will be a little easier. I got a stump that I should probably trim just a little bit, but if I can get that moved over about 3 feet, then it should be a fairly straight pull back to the log cart once that's set up. I'm running out of daylight though. I trimmed the top of that stump. Here goes. I sure hope I don't need another rope because both of my ropes are stuck. I am all hooked up, and the one problem that I could have is that cart is really top heavy. A couple problems I could have. The cart is really top heavy. I'm not quite in perfect alignment for being able to pull it, so I'm hoping that it doesn't start tipping over to the side. That, and I hope that between the cart and my Yamaha Rhino that I've got enough weight that's ballast against pulling this log, but we're going to give it a try. Success in loading it. Now the quest of getting this thing out of here. We'll see what I can do. That's it for this episode. I thank you again for joining me. I don't know that there was a lot to be learned, maybe a little bit to be entertained. Hit the thumbs up below if you would, please. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you'd like me to notify you next time something comes out. Again, I appreciate you being here. Bye.